these are biomolecules questions. This is previous years plus important questions plus NCERT questions. And in order to cover this chapter like full completely, what I've tried is at the end, right, like I'll make questions like the NCERT important lines, right, I'll turn that into questions. So if you learn those questions and answers, it will be enough for this chapter. So let us start with the first question. That is, when glucose reacts with bromine water, what is the main product forms? See, here I'll tell you something. And what is that? This bromine water, you see this, right? This is actually mild oxidizing agent. It is a mild oxidizing agent. Now, when you make this glucose to react with bromine water, what will happen exactly? So, we do know the glucose formula. It will be written like CHO, CHOH the whole 4, CH2OH. Now, when you make it to react with the bromine water, you're gonna get, instead of CHO, you're gonna get COOH. Then you're gonna get CHOH the whole 4. You know what? Let me write it properly. So imagine we have CHO, CHO, CHOH the whole 4, and CH2OH. And then when you make it to react with this bromine water, everything will remain same. When I tell you everything, in the sense, I'm talking about this and this one. What will change? This will change. Instead of CHO, we get it as COOH, CHOH the whole 4, then you're gonna get CH2OH. Now just remember acid is coming, so this gets formed into gluconic acid. Now, why do we exactly have to do this reaction? Means most of the time they might either ask this in an MCQ, or they might even ask in the form of like question, like write the reaction. Now why do we need to use this reaction is, the thing is this bromine water, right, it's a mild oxidizing agent. So what does this have to do with anything? This is a mild oxidizing agent, right, and this formation of gluconic acid will show us that the carbonyl group which is present in this thing, which is present in the glucose, this is glucose structure, right, in glucose it is aldehyde. So to show the presence of aldehyde, of carbonyl in the glucose is aldehyde group, we need to use this bromine water. So that the answer would be gluconic acid. If you do not understand my handwriting, you can even go through this thing where they have used. Here we have D-glucose, dextrorotatory. Dextrorotatory means it can turn the plane polarized light. So you can write when you're writing even in the exam hall, you can write that when glucose reacts with bromine water, it undergoes oxidation reaction to form gluconic acid as a product. So here we need to remember again, once again I'll repeat it. You can either fast forward the video also or just listen to what I'm saying, so that you'll understand even more clearly, and then you'll be able to remember, so that it'll get revised multiple times. Just take glucose structure, everything will remain same, and here CHO is the present, right? This bromine, it is a mild oxidizing agent. So here what reaction takes place? Obviously it undergoes oxidation. So now what happens when it undergoes oxidation? You're gonna get D-gluconic acid. D for dextrorotatory. Now why do we need to use this bromine water? That CHO is getting converted to COOH, right? So it is showing the presence of aldehyde group. And that's it. In the next question, what type of linkage is present in proteins? Peptide linkage is present in the proteins, and you need to remember this, peptide linkage is present in proteins. Now since we are talking about the term proteins, right, I'll just try to give you some examples of this proteins itself. Like I'll try to give you some questions of proteins, but for now let us just do what are the things, okay? So this, what type of linkage is present in proteins? It is peptide linkage. Remember that one. Next question. Write reaction when D-glucose reacts with bromine water and HCN. You know HCN, when it reacts with HCN, that is cyanohydrin, we get a product formed. We already discussed what happens in bromine water. Bromine water is nothing but it's a mild oxidizing agent. It undergoes the oxidation reaction and it forms gluconic acid. Now what about this one? This is a cyanohydrin, okay? When it undergoes cyanohydrin, we get glucose cyanohydrin. Glucose cyanohydrin, how is it formed? So let me just give an example of how to remember this reaction. So that would be we know CHO, CHOH the whole 4, and then CH2OH. When you make it to react with HCN, right, everything will remain same except for one thing, except for one part. This CHO, don't write CHO. Just write CHOH the whole 4. You're done with this one. CH2OH. Make two bonds like this. One will be OH, one more will be CN. The CN should come above. One will be CN and this will be OH. This is called glucose cyanohydrin. Now, why do we need to add for this glucose HCN? Now, there will be some type of question, right? Why do we need to, like, why does glucose reacts with this HCN, right? Because here, if you see, glucose reacts with, there are two things. This is a cyanohydrin to give these things. Now, give me a minute. I'm not able to write anything in this thing. Okay. Why does glucose reacts with HCN? Because this is because of the straight chain structure of glucose, presence of carbonyl group in glucose. This is because this is for aldehyde, right? I told you, aldehyde. The carbonyl group is a aldehyde group. This is for the presence of straight chain structure of glucose. Straight chain structure of glucose, and in glucose presence of COH group. So you can even use this also to confirm this thing. So here, what exactly do you need to remember here? The points which I had mentioned. First things which you need to remember is that whenever you add a bromine water, we get gluconic acid. And why does this take place? Because to show that aldehyde group is present in it. Now, why do we add HCN? Because so that we can show that glucose is like a straight chain and presence of glucose is like a straight chain due to the presence of COOH group. Also you can write due to the presence of COOH group. COOH group. I hope you're able to understand my handwriting. Br2 water, gluconic aldehyde, gluconic acid will be formed here. And in HCN, glucose is like straight chain due to the presence of COOH group, and here it is because of aldehyde, and I've already written that here also. Now, before we go to the next one, what else do we have in the biomolecules? See, we understood that in the biomolecules, now we have learned only two things, that to show the presence of this thing or to prove this thing. Now we have still some more examples, and that first one, let me just explain you so that you will be able to understand. So the first one which you need to remember is something called as HI. Now when you make a glucose to react with HI, right, you're gonna get N-hexane. So this is already given in your NCERT book. You can go through that also. Or you know what, let me just explain you here. It is a pretty simple thing. Now I'm teaching you this because we have learnt already bromine water and HCN, right? So now there are still some 4 more which you need to remember like this. Now why do we need to remember this one is just, like to prove some things, like for how we proved for the cyanohydrin thing, to show the presence of carbonyl group or due to the presence of COH also you can tell. And then in bromine water we showed how like it gets oxidized to show that it is an aldehyde group. Now next is HI. Why do we need to add HI? To prove that is a straight chain. To prove that is a straight chain. So you can take an example of this also. You can just write the structure of glucose as CHO, CH2, CHOH the whole 4, and CH2OH. Now when I make it to react with the HI, right, I get hexane. 4, 5, 6. I think everyone knows how to fill the hydrogens right here. Okay. So here if you get like this, you will get an hexane. This is to prove that it is a straight chain. Now we proved it's a straight chain. Next, what should we prove other than these things? That is something called as hydroxylamine. This reactants. So this also is used to show the presence of carbonyl group. You can use HCN to show the presence of carbonyl group, or you can use even one more method, that is called hydroxylamine. NH4OH you just add, and then same structure of glucose, CHO, CHOH the whole 4, CHOH the whole 4, and CH2OH. When you make it to react with NH4OH, what are you going to be getting? You're going to be getting CH double bond NOH. This is called oxime. So once again I'll repeat it here. Glucose structure is there. Everything will remain same except for the first part, that is CH double bond N single bond OH. This is called oxime. Then everything else will be the same thing. CHOH the whole 4, and then CH2OH. So you can use this method to show the presence of an carbonyl group, or you can use the above method which I had explained you. This thing, to the presence of, you can either use even HCN also to show the presence of the carbonyl group. Presence of carbonyl group. So you can see these things. Bromine water, gluconic acid. Then why do we use bromine water? For aldehyde. Okay, let me explain you a few more things and then we can keep on going. So what is the next one? That is gonna be, we have only 2 more to remember. That is acetylation of glucose. Why? Okay, what proof do we need it? To show the presence of 5-OH group. To show the presence of 5-OH group. You can use the formula again, CHO, CHOH the whole 4, CH2OH. How do you show the presence of an acetic, how do you show the presence of the 5-OH group? So you can use, you can do it with the help of something called as acetic anhydride. Now let us see how to do this one. It's pretty simple itself. Write the same thing, CHO, only CHO, and then again CH2OH. No, now again you write CH2O. Don't write H here, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Just don't write here H. This H is there, no? Just cancel it out and write it as CHO, CH2O. Now you write O, C double bond O, CH3. Again C double bond O, CH3. That's it. What is this called? This, it shows the presence of 5-OH group. Once again I'll repeat it. It's pretty simple itself. If you want me to write neatly, let me just do it properly. Okay. CHO, CHOH the whole 4, CH2OH. Just add acetic anhydride. When you add acetic anhydride, write CHO. Don't write H, just write CHO. Again CH2O. Then you write O, C double bond O, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. And if you remember here, there is still 4 miss there, so you just write 4. Why do we need to use this thing? To show the presence of 5-OH group. To show the presence of 5-OH group. That's it. Next, now we are done with this one also. Next one is, how do you show that this particular thing, right, it contains an alcohol. So we are done with to show the presence of aldehyde, carbonyl, presence of OH group, to show that it is a straight chain. Now the last thing, which is this thing, is now we've showed that it has 5-OH group. Now next thing we need to prove is, how do you know that it contains OH group? So we can use what? We can take a normal glucose and oxidize it, or you can take gluconic acid and oxidize it. Both will give you something called as saccharic acid, and that will show you the presence of OH group. If you want me to explain it, this is CHOH, the whole 4, then CH2OH. This is glucose. Once again, I'll write here the other side. What will I write on the other side? Same thing, I'll write gluconic acid. With the bromine water it formed, right, to show the presence of the aldehyde group. So I'll write that one. CH2OH. This is gluconic acid. When I oxidize it, yeah, it's too big. Okay, it's fine. When I oxidize it, I'm gonna get the same thing, but I'll get two side COOH. COOH. This is called saccharic acid. So here we have a glucose, just oxidize it. You need to oxidize it, and if you oxidize it, you'll get. See, the questions were pretty simple. First, they asked us what will form when glucose reacts with bromine water. If I have to go in steps, I'll just show you what I've written. See, when bromine water, why does it react with bromine water? To form gluconic acid. Now, what will this gluconic acid formation tell us? That it contains an aldehyde group. Now imagine we need to show that there is a presence of carbonyl group. There are also two methods is there. One is HCN, one more is NH4OH, which will be used for the oxime thing. This is called as oxime. Now what does this do? To show the presence of carbonyl group. Either you can use this thing or you can use this one. Next we have HI. This is also very famous, and that is for N-hexane, to show the presence of straight chain. And next one is CHOH, acetic anhydride, to show the presence of 5OH group. Now you showed the presence of 5OH group. Now next you should show is OH group present. For that you can either take glucose or gluconic acid and just oxidize it both the side. You're gonna get saccharic acid. So this is the way you need to remember. Now we are done with this type of questions. Next is write the name of the disease caused by vitamin B12. This is pernicious anemia. Actually, this type of questions, they'll make a table and give you. But I'll try to teach you in a question wise so that you will be able to memorize it easily. In table wise, you might get confused too. But if you ask my opinion, in question wise, it's best. So write the name of the disease caused by the deficiency of vitamin B12. It's pernicious anemia. And here also they have written a little bit more about it. Intrinsic factor is a protein made in the stomach. It is really needed to absorb vitamin 12. This type of B12 causes this type of vitamin B12 deficiency anemia is called pernicious anemia. Just remember this one. This was asked in the previous year too. So it's very important. Just remember why vitamin B12, when it is this thing, when it is low on deficiency, when it is deficient, that time in a body it can cause pernicious anemia. Next is vitamin which vitamin deficiency causes bleeding of gums. Which vitamin deficiency causes pernicious anemia? It is vitamin B12. Now they're telling which vitamin deficiency causes bleeding of the gum. This is vitamin C. So you need to remember this one. So if it is bleeding gums or pernicious anemia, let me write it properly. Bleeding gums, pernicious anemia. This is vitamin B12. And what about this one? Vitamin C. So you can remember like that. Next is, which of the following is a monosaccharide? Fructose, obviously, because sucrose also can be, but fructose is the best one. Maltose, it can't. No, sucrose is not a disaccharide. It is a disaccharide, right? Obviously, because sucrose will produce alpha D glucose and fructose. Sorry, it produces basically glucose and fructose. Just remember that much. Glucose and fructose. Glucose and fructose. What about maltose? 2 alpha D glucose. What about lactose? Galactose and glucose. So you can remember like it in this way. The sucrose means, obviously fructose is nothing but is obtained by sucrose. Sucrose is a cane sugar. What about lactose? This is present in the milk. See, I'm trying my best to convey most of the information in one question itself, so that even if you get a different type of question, then you'll be able to answer. So here I've asked which are the following is a monosaccharide. Obviously, disaccharide upon hydrolysis, it will give you two molecules of monosaccharides. So you can see sucrose is a cane sugar. Since it is a cane sugar, what will happen? Obviously, it's gonna give two things. That like it is a cane sugar. Here, inversion takes place. Glucose and fructose. I'll explain you the inversion later. Now just focus on this one. Whenever you have maltose, it gives you 2 alpha D glucose. Whenever you have lactose, it gives you galactose and glucose, which is present in the milk. The right answer would be the fructose, because that is the only monosaccharide. So even if you simplify it, like even if you hydrolyze it, it won't give any simpler units, because it itself is a simpler unit. Next is differentiate between acidic and basic amino acids. We'll come back to this one. See, like how I explain you this information, I told you that I'll explain you even the peptide linkage, this thing. So I'll try to explain some important points in the protein one, so that you'll be able to answer those questions also. 1 minute. Yeah, this thing I'll explain you here itself. Give me a minute.